Hello and welcome to the final round of the Phoenix Sim Racing F4 World Championship. It's great to have you all on board. Thank you ever so much for joining us. And on co-commentary this evening is a slight change. It's not going to be Thomas Merritt. Unfortunately, he's unable to make this final round, as he said in the last round that we were in. And we're actually joined by Brad Smith. So, Brad, welcome to the Phoenix Sim Racing F4 World Championship. I know you raced in the last round itself, but it's great to have you on board. Looking forward to this evening. So just talk us through that last round, because you were racing on behalf of Johnny Ogden. Johnny obviously couldn't make it for the last round, and instilled you with the confidence to take the reins of his car and score him some valuable points. And how did that go? And look, let's just talk about the elephant in the room here, which is your picture here for the Phoenix Sim Racing commentary team, and yeah, what's with the bunny ears, shall we say? Oh, lovely stuff. Brad, apparently the chat can't hear you, which isn't great. We'll figure out that technical issue. I'm not sure what that is, but we'll work with that in the meantime, and we'll bring Brad in as soon as we can. So we'll work with that one. But free practice is ticking over. Lorenzo Sentra has taken P1 with a 122.352. Cole Felvis in second place at 122.477, and Alexander Link with a 122.494. So it is shaping up to be an interesting evening in this F4 World Championship, and we look forward to seeing who potentially is going to take the crown and be crowned the Phoenix Sim Racing champion for this series. But as we look to it, the top three for last week: Giuliano Giarco taking P1, Cristiano Bettini P2, and Josh Martin P3. A nice dent taken out of Carl's advantage in the lead of the championship, and actually dropped him down to third place. Although after race stewards' inquiries and penalties, what we did find is that Carl Felvis has been able to gain a few valuable points and keep a nice little run at the top. So as it stands at the moment, Giuliano Giarco leading the championship with 269 points. Carl Felvis in P2 for HFT with 261. Cristiano Bettini P3 with 258. Alexander Lincoln P4 with 236. Lorenzo Sentra rounding out the top five with 225. With Jonathan Ogden keeping himself in the moment and primed and ready with 221, so a potential opportunity for him to get onto the podium depending on this evening's antics. Adam Lyle P7 after a strong form and a strong couple of races for him. Josh Martin in P8 and Nicky Taylor P9 with 205 points. Thomas Potter rounding out the top 10 with 193. And as we work to try and fix Brad's mic, we're going to dive straight into qualifying. So bear with me just 2 seconds, and we're going to dive straight in. As we see Carl Felvis already out on his hot lap, getting ready, and Carl actually ran a little video, which unfortunately we're not able to show you, of a hot lap around this circuit, but him and the HFT team looking incredibly fast for this final round, and done a fair amount of practice, as I'm sure a lot of the drivers already have. But we will see who reigns supreme here in qualifying. Now, it'd be great to see if people in the YouTube chat could turn around and say if they can hear Brad. So Brad, speak for us, and let's see if we can hear you. Do you know what? I don't think they can hear you. I genuinely don't. I think there might be some issues there with your mic or something of the sort. But I don't know for anyone in the YouTube. You got 21 people watching you, Brad. We need to know if they can hear you because they could hear Thomas Merritt last week and for subsequent rounds. I knew this would get pinned on me. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Nope, no Brad, says Adrian Felvis. Okay, weird, interesting. Why can we not hear you, Mr. Bradley Smith? Because nothing has changed on our end, so clearly there's an issue there as we look to rectify it. So bear with me just a second and we'll roll with it. As Jacob Gaddon sets his banker lap of 131.5 alongside Anne Skirty with 132.1 and Johnny Ogden with a 132.8. As we see Carl Felvis going wide and onto the gravel there for his first qualifying lap, and that's going to be a real hindrance to him. Realistically, we've only 7 minutes left of this qualifying. He's going to have to either come back into the pits and get a fresh set of tyres, or he's going to do a cool down lap and then go again. So not the best of starts for Kyle, but I'm sure with the pace that he already has, he'll be able to bring that one back. Right, let's see if we can get Brad on board here, because we need him as co-commentator. I'd like to think it isn't. Right, apologies for that. I think we may well have sorted it. YouTube chat, I need you now to tell me if you can hear Bradley Smith in co-commentary. Brad, talk away.
I hope so, because I'm not repeating myself for a third time.
Hey, you might be able to make it a fourth. Oh, Carl Felvis there going very wide across that curb there. Adrian.
He's gone very sideways there.
He has indeed.
Adam Lyle that's just nipped past him? Yeah.
He has done indeed in qualifying form.
Kyle was set in purple sectors as well.
He was indeed. Adam Lyle now up into P4. Carl Felvis down to 22.7. We know he can do much more. Hey, they can hear you now, Brad. This is brilliant. We're back.
Well done, Joel. You fixed it. It wasn't my mic. I'm just putting that out there. I done nothing wrong. It was all Joel.
Hey, look. These slight technical issues is what adds the finesse to these streams. At the end of the day, I'm just putting it out there. The fact is, we fixed it. With 4 minutes left to go.
The technical support Joel's normally got is commentating with him. That's the problem we had here.
Hey, I'm just gonna say here, I never had an issue with Thomas Merritt. So look, for those in the YouTube chat, maybe Brad Smith is the bad omen here. I don't know. But as it stands, no, I don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it, Brad. Lorenzo Sentra rounds out the grid with a 1:22.461. Giuliano Giarco joins us late. Was working late this evening. Has jumped into the hot seat and in there with a 1:22.637. Alexander Link with a 1:22.656. Adam Lyle with a 1:22.672. And Carl Felvis with a 1:22.799. These times are incredibly close. There's about half a second between P1 to P7 right now with 3 minutes left to qualifying. Who's your money on, Brad?
I'm actually going to go with either of the two Italians.
Ooh. Which Italians are those?
Central Giarco.
Ooh.
I'm going...
Okay.
Oh, okay, Kyle's just ruined it. Kyle with an absolutely amazing time with a 22.5 just completely blew me out of the water. I'll be having words with him after this.
And is it safe to say, Bradley, that you have Italian heritage?
I do, and my mother only calls me Bradley when I'm in trouble. Okay, so we can stop that now. Yeah, I do. So I'm fully going with the Italians. I do it when the World Cup's on. This is pretty much the same. It's, yeah. Plus the Italians are better at football than the English, so.
Let's see how we go with this one.
It'll be fine, trust me. Kyle was backing off. I'm guessing he's on a cool-down lap.
It might be potentially. Look, it's 2 minutes left to qualifying right now. At the end of the day, you know, Carl's got pace. We know this. Sector 1 was nearly 10th and a half off of his fastest Sector 1 performance already. So potentially struggling. But you have to say, Carl has...
Centra has actually took 2 temps out of his time, and he's just set a mini purple sector. So he could go faster again.
He could.
He's now 2.5 temps fast, clear. 2.5 temps clear.
Yeah, and that's an absolutely phenomenal lap there for the WRT driver of Lorenzo Sentra. You must admit, that's not usually where he is. And normally it's Giuliano Giarco and Carl Felvis, potentially your likes of, you know, Adam Lyle, Nicky Taylor, you know, getting into the mix there and Dyson for that. But, hey, look, Lorenzo Sentra obviously hooked this one up and has found his groove, shall we say, and put himself on the top step of the podium. Who is going to... Oh, and Adam Lyle, yep, just as you say that, has gone quickest with a 1:22 dead. Now, he was threatening this, and before the stream started, Adam Lyle did say that there was a potential 1:21 in there in qualifying for someone who manages to nail that perfect lap, and got to say, he's got mighty close to it.
I didn't see that coming at all. That is a mighty lap. I would probably be doing a 1:29 round here in these cars. These guys and girls in these cars are making it look easy, and I can assure you it's not easy. I gave you the whole spiel of what happened, but you couldn't hear me because Joel messed up. So I'm not going to put you through it again.
Don't hold me against that forever. But Adam Lyle has gone 300ths quicker in that first sector, so we're going to ride with him now, and we're going to ride on board and just see what he can do, to see if he can potentially increase that. But he has got slightly sideways through that right-hand corner as he goes in second last corner now, misses the apex slightly. That's going to kill some time for him, and I'm going to say that he's probably not going to improve. As he does, he backs off, so that's not going to be the one for him. You know, potential opportunity there for him to get the 1:21, but just didn't nail that down.
Centra was up as well, and he lost it. He went wide on a corner, and he's backed off.
I was going to say, Carl Felvis now parked in sort of the entry to the pit lane. Potentially he's run out of fuel. Yeah, potentially. Yeah. Or he knows that he wasn't going to nail it down. But Adam Lyle going P1 with a 1:22.085. Lorenzo Sentra with a 1:22.241. And Mr. Sciurti here now with a 1:22.553, rounding out the top 3. Carl Felvis in P4. That's not what he needs for this championship. Carl Felvis has had this on tenterhooks the whole championship now. And it's an opportunity for potentially him to lose this right at the last moment. But there is 2 races. And these races could produce the best action that we've seen throughout this whole season. So let's see what happens off the back of it. But as the drivers come round to come back into the pits, get the tyres changed, get the cars fueled up and ready for race 1. We're going to go to a short ad break. We'll look forward to speaking to you in the qualifying interviews. We'll see you shortly.
What is going on, guys, and welcome back to Nerd PC Turbo Tech Reviews. Now today is something a little bit different. Normally we do just reviews on a single item, but today we're going to be showing you guys what you can expect from Nerd PC. Nerd PC is a bespoke building company where you can get absolutely any sort of style of gaming PC, office work PC, retail, or even for school work. This PC here demonstrates how small they can be, but yet still pack an absolute powerful punch. So from such a small computer like this, you may be worrying about heat, but these fans inside of here keep it absolutely ice cold as well as quiet. Now listen to this. Nice and quiet. Beautiful. Now we build completely different style of computers. Like I said, from this little one up here, it's all down to you. You get to decide on which case you want to use. You get to decide if you want it all flashy and RGB. You get to decide whether you want it completely plain and black. Remember, we did the hard part of figuring out which components work best for you for your value for money, but you get to decide on how it looks. If you're after something that's in your face, some bright and powerful as this. So this build here is in a Gigabyte C102 glass Arctic Ice case with 320mm Cooler Master fans at the front, 360mm all-in-one cooler at the top. This full white ice build does look insane, and I can assure you, you will not be disappointed. So if you're on the market for a brand new shining gaming computer, or if you want a computer for home use, retail, or office work, it's completely down to you. We just make it happen. So if you haven't done already, go and head over to the website at www.nerdpc.co.uk, have a browse through, see what's on there, or drop us a message directly on Facebook, and we'll do our absolute best to make it happen for you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. And if you are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you did enjoy this video, hit the like for me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!
And welcome back after qualifying here at Brands Hatch GP. And we're joined by Adam Lyle, our pole sitter, who nipped a lap in right at the end there and caught absolutely everyone off guard. Adam, talk us through that lap. How was it?
It wasn't perfect. There's definitely more time in there, but it was still quick. So that's all it needed to be, really.
You seem very nonchalant about all of this, but over the past 3 rounds, you've been incredibly fast. You've nailed the setup. You got yourself to where you need to be, and actually won a few races off the back of it. So, what's changed from the start of the season to now, in terms of your your race performance and your driving characteristics and your setup and things like that?
Honestly, just more practice. I think it was round 5. I think where I finally got a pole and that. So I pumped in, don't know how many practice laps in that one. And I've just got a feel for the car now a bit.
Well, it's nice to see you keeping it out of the wall more than anything, because that was your first couple of rounds, right? But do you think, off the back of this, if you'd had the performance you have now at the start of the championship, that you could be, running in contention for the win of this championship?
I'd like to hope so. Obviously, we'll not know. Like you say, I've put it in the wall too many times anyway. But yeah, if I'd have had this pace, hopefully I'd have been up there. Yeah.
Well, look, it is what it is, and I think these cars are incredibly difficult to drive at the best of times, and Brad spoke to that, and I've done some testing around certain tracks in these cars, and they're a handful. You guys and girls make it look incredibly easy on the stream, but it's not that, especially with the ABS and locking up the tires and having to manage them and things like that. So we applaud every single driver within this championship that's racing these cars, because yeah, it's not easy at all, and there's a lot of laps of practice that go into to getting these cars right. But Ad, look, we wish you the best of luck for race 1. What is your game plan going into race 1 now? Is it going to be the same as always? Try and get a good start and lead from the front, or how's it running for you?
It'd be nice, but there's a lot of places for draft here again, so I could see, is it Lorenzo? I think got P2. I could see him getting some draft down the straight if I make it to the straight without binning it. So yeah, it's just, as long as I beat my teammate, that's that gives you number 1, doesn't it? So
it does indeed. It does indeed.
You're next, aren't you?
We are indeed. So I'm sure she would have heard this, and she's gonna have some interesting words to say about you, Adam, after this one. But look, we wish you the best of luck for race 1, and potentially be speaking to you after this race.
Thanks. Good luck, Toots.
Cheers. Okay, over to you, Brad, for our guest driver interview.
So for the guest driver this week, we've got Olivia. I'm not going to even try and pronounce her last name because I'm bad enough with easy names, let alone a Scottish one like that. I'm guessing is it Scottish? Olivia?
It's Polish.
But, there you go then. That just proves my point. But I have got one question. Ad's got fighting talk. Do you want me to give him the commentator's curse for your benefit?
I don't know. As much as I'd like that, I just want him to go and win. He's done a lot of help for me, so
I mean, go on.
He had a lot of bad luck. He's definitely brought it back. I don't really know. I've had bad luck with commentator's curse, so it's just circumstantial.
Okay, so I'll leave the commentator's curse to Joel.
Whoa! Hang on a minute. Right, can we before we go any further with this, can I just say that the commentator's curse has faded out recently. It was prime in its moment. However, the commentator's curse has faded out, and I am very reluctant to say anything about anyone at this point, because as soon as I do, someone ends up binning it or putting it into a wall. So there will be no commentator's curse for the rest of this. But anyway, continue your interview. I digress. I digress.
So, are you happy with your standing at the moment in the championship, Olivia? Do you think you could have done better?
Still think I can push for another position. I worked it out that I would need to get an 8th and a 7th, which would get me, I want to say it was 36 points or above that. That's what I'm aiming for today. I'm happy with 15th. Me and Adam, we set goals for each race of what we think is achievable. And before the series started, we both said 15th place would be a good 25, 26 cars or something like that. It's achievable and it's good. I'm currently standing in 15th. I've hit that. If I can push for 14th, that'll make me happy.
Well, that's all we want to do. Help people towards their goals. So with your real life racing, how are you getting on with that this year?
So I've only done 2 races this year, but there's obviously, I worked it out, it was quite a big winter break for us. About I think it was 5 months we were off for. But the gap difference between the last race I did and the first one this year was about half a second, and then my second race I got another half a second off, so I'm making progress. Hopefully the next one I get another half a second off, that'd be good, but only time will tell.
And am I right in saying you're the only girl in the race league as well?
In or Phoenix?
Both.
Currently, at least for tonight's race, I'm the only one, and I think I'm the only one signed up for the endurance race that's a girl. As for 2 litres, there is currently England that races, and we're hoping to get another one up in Scotland, so there's only 3 of us.
Okay, interesting. Maybe I'll put a wig on and join in.
Let's do it.
Do you think I'd get away with it, or?
I don't know. Maybe try the cat ears. That'll help you blend in.
Whoa. There's a story behind the cat ears. The chat
We
will
won't
have
go.
heard about it.
We won't go
Oh,
into that. We won't go into that.
I messed up my mic. Okay, so they couldn't hear me. We'll explain this story later on when we've got a bit of a
I'll be
maybe
away.
if we have. Yeah. So you'll have to watch your stream back and then you'll hear the story.
Well, Olivia, best of luck for race 1, and hopefully you manage to get the points that you need. And look, you never know what happens in these races. It may turn into pure carnage, and you might end up on the podium for race 1 or race 2. You never know. These things happen. But best of luck, and look forward to speaking to you soon. Okay, Brad. This is it. This is the moment that we've all been waiting for. The final round at the F4 World Series. 2 races are going to decide this, and I'm going to play this off the back of the mini championship that I was part of, several months ago, against the likes of Nicky Taylor, Kyle, the lot of them. Yes, you were part of it, and yes, you may well have helped me towards that.
I was just about to put that out there. This is the exact same track that I helped you win the championship.
Oh, look, we don't need to tell the viewers that, okay? We don't need to tell the
extremely
viewers that. No, we don't need to tell the viewers that. At the end of the day, I won the championship. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But what I will say,
Again, all the glory to Joel.
hey, look, it is what it is. But I will say now that the lights are coming on, and we are about ready to go here with 2 lights illuminated, 5 and 6 lights ready to go. Adam Lyle on pole. Is he going to be able to make the start that he wants? And he does indeed. A slight bit of wheel spin. He gets away incredibly well as he closes off P2 into the first corner. And you've got to say, Adam Lyle with a great start here. Lorenzo Centra in P2. Andreas Gierti in P3. As all the cars come through pretty well civilized, I must say. Which is good. No, I say that, and commentator's curse has absolutely ruined that. I should not have said a thing. Sciorti down now into P15, which has promoted Carl Felvers. Yeah, I shouldn't have said anything. I should not have said anything. But what I have said is Carl Felvers is now up to P2, with Alexander Link into P3, Nicky Taylor into P4, and Tabaroni P5.
And on another note, Giaco, championship leader, am I right?
You are indeed.
Is last. He
is.
He was on the grass. I don't know who he clashed with, but he clashed with someone and he was on the grass. So this is opening up for Kyle at the moment.
It is indeed. But Adam Lyle now with a 1.5 second gap, so he's got the greatest of starts. He's done exactly what he needs to do over the past 3 rounds as well, where he's disappeared off into the distance and gained that starting advantage that he needed. But you've got to say that Carl Felvers is going to be hot on his heels with a little bit less ballast than what he was on previously in the rounds before. Is he going to be able to chase him down as he starts to gap Alexander Link for P3?
It's going to be interesting to see if Kyle can catch up with all that, but he's still got a lot of ballast. Let's not play it down that he's not got. Is it 25 kilos still, or 24?
He does. Yeah, he does.
Yeah. So he's still got a lot of ballast on that car, and Ad's got what? 8? Is it 18?
You say that.
I think Kyle.
You say that, but Carl Felvers now 8/10 behind Adam Lyle in P2.
I mean, is Kyle gonna have to push from the start and try and get past him before his tyres die? Or is the extra weight gonna kill his tyres?
It might do. We're going to find out. I mean, there's still 18 minutes left of this race plus 1 lap. As we see, moves all around the grid here now. As Cristiano Bettini, Josh Martin, and Jacob Gannon now all fighting it out for position. As Nicky Taylor loses a position to Alexander Link. Lorenzo Centra loses a position to Johnny Ogden. So the field is electric right now. And everyone is chasing after one another. We've got to say, Josh Martin up to P7. That's a great run for him. What Carl Felvers really needs right now is Nicky Taylor to make the move on Alexander Link and get into P3 and almost wingman him for the rest of this race more than anything. And I'm sure that, Brad, you'll pay testament to this in the mini championship that we run, that teammates can help an awful lot.
They can. I think did I hold Nicky up for what 4 laps, so you could get a nice enough lead, and then I let him through because I was about 2 seconds a lap slower. Whilst how can I put this? Being sick over myself. That's the only way to.
Hey, well, look, it is what it is. But you made the difference, and that's all that matters. Look, teamwork makes the dream work. That's exactly what matters in all of this. But as it stands, Kyle Phelps now only 5 tenths behind Adam Lyle. So would we say Adam Lyle's potentially just backing off a little bit? You know, he's out in the front, he's good to go, he's managing the tyres, or is he genuinely coming under pressure from Kyle? Because that's what it looks like right now. So, you know, if Adam's got the pace in his car, he needs to put that foot down and disappear off into the distance. He needs at least a second gap. The toe's worth quite a bit around this track. And right now, Kyle looks like the faster driver of the two. And you got to say, the way that Kyle's going, it's a great opportunity for him to take P1 and, you know, take them valuable points that he needs to potentially win this championship.
I feel like Adam's trying to save his tyres and Kyle's going all out. It's going to be harder to overtake than it is. Harder for Ad to overtake towards the end of the race. So I think Kyle's going to push, try and get Ad to burn his tyres out. This is from my perspective, being a racer, a sim racer, not a racer.
And you say that, but Kyle Phelps was now diving up the inside. Yep, I'd see. I don't think Ad is saving them tyres. I think Ad is struggling and doesn't quite have the pace that Kyle has. And Kyle made that look easy, dived into that hairpin there, caught Adam Lyle off guard, potentially, but there's isn't an opportunity here for Adam Lyle to try and dive up the inside. It's just not going to happen. This corner washes you out so wide, you're not going to make it stick. And look, Adam Lyle already, you know, 4 tenths off the back of Kyle Phelps, so this is a dream start for Kyle, and away he goes out in P1, with quite a big lead now from Alexander Link in P3.
Yeah, I didn't even look like he tried to defend that. I don't know whether he didn't see him come in or didn't expect it. But he stayed on the racing line, and Kyle just zipped straight up the inside.
It was a late lunge. It was a late lunge.
We'll keep an eye on, see if Kyle pulls away or if Ad stays with him, because that'll be interesting. It will prove my theory right if he does stay with him.
Let's see. Let's see.
He's not pulling away, so I could be right, but who knows?
Who knows? But Kyle Phelps leading the pack here in P1, Adam Lyle P2, Alexander Link in P3, with Adam Lyle all over the back of Kyle Phelps right now. Only 2 tenths between him. And is he going to go for the exact same move? No, he's not. Kyle thinks better of it and covers off that inside. Nicky Taylor in 4th place. Tabaroni P5. Bettini down in P6. So, you know, not the run that he wanted. Josh Martin P7. 11 seconds off the lead now and about 5 seconds off of Bertini. So, you know, the gap already starting to eke out with 13 minutes and 46 seconds left to go of this race, plus 1 lap. As it stands, it's a battle. He is indeed. Is he going to go for the move?
This could end one way. No, he's got through clean. I was expecting 2 cars in the wall there.
That's not a corner that you normally make the overtaking move on. So, you know, the more that these two battle, we've seen this throughout this championship, the more that these two battle out the front, the more it's going to drag in Alexander Link, and then to become a 3-way battle. And it is now. You see Alexander Link only 8 tenths off of the lead now. So that's not going to be what these two want. Realistically, these two want to almost push together, see who's the faster driver of the two, make a gap, and then battle it out towards the end. Because, look, Kyle needs the points. Adam Lyle realistically isn't in the running for the championship, and that's going to put Kyle in a sticky situation. But Adam Lyle with a 1:23.434, Kyle Phelps to 1:23.9. It's almost 4 tenths difference in lap time over Adam Lyle and Kyle Phelps. So you got to say that Adam's got the pace there, potentially isn't using it. And as much as I don't want to say it, you might be right there. You might be right. He might just been saving his tyres, and he's actually got some extra pace in the tank.
Well, I know from last week these tyres burn out very fast, as we see Johnny Ogden with a DNF. What's gone on there? No,
we missed
sorry,
that.
just a time glitch.
The transponder on his car is not working the way it should. It almost reminds me of Bahrain F1 Next thing you know, the DRS isn't going to work, and they're going to have to activate it manually, and George Russell's going to press the radio rather than his DRS, and vice versa, and it's going to be all over the place.
Whoa. You leave my baby boy George Russell alone.
I forgot he's your favourite, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Okay, just leave him out of it. But now Adam and Kyle have stopped fighting. Alexander Link's dropping off. He's lost 3 attempts that lap. So it'll be interesting to see the lap times between the top 4, because I noticed Nikki last lap matched Adam's lap.
And I'm going to jump in there because Olivia Krishtanovska, because you couldn't pronounce her last name, but I can. She's dropped down now to P14. She got a little bit sideways and has dropped it on the curb, put it onto the grass, and she's pushed herself all the way down the order, which is a real shame because, you know, she's going for P15 in this championship. She's got a sight set on gaining some valuable points, so hopefully she can make her way back up through the pack and catch up to the likes of Skirty and Sentra. But as we dive back to it, Kyle Felvis now 3 tenths behind Adam Lyle. I'm going to call it now. Kyle is sitting in position waiting for Adam to make a slight mistake. I feel like Kyle was trying to put him under pressure, and this is going to be an all-out battle for the win, but you got to say Kyle needs it. He needs to get these valuable points for the championship.
Yeah, it's I feel Kyle is doing that. He's just sat behind Adam, just shy of 3 attempts off him the whole way around the track. He's not attacking, he's not diving into any corners, he's literally just following Ad around. So maybe he's just now trying to push Ad into burning out his tyres. It's all mind games, it's all, you know, Joel, it's, you've got to get in the other driver's head to try and make him make a mistake or do something silly, as Ad goes very wide all the way around and Kyle's looking up the inside.
He's made it done. He's done it, and you know what? Almost like Adam didn't want to fight that one. It's almost like he knew that he just didn't have the pace on Kyle. Now, realistically, you know, being in the dirty air of the car behind you is not great, and the fact that Kyle was able to stick so close to Adam says to me that Kyle's got a heck of a lot more pace than what Adam's got, as he goes incredibly wide over that rumble strip on the right-hand side there. But I'm going to call it now. I think Kyle's got more pace than what he's letting on to. And actually, I think it's an opportunity for him now to try and dive out the way. The problem is he's going to be, you know, in the wake of Adam Lyle behind, who's now tucking him behind him. The toe is so strong down here. It's insane. But, you know, this comes down to the better driver at the end of the day. You know, Kyle has been dominant all season. And it's a great opportunity for him to, you know, really assert himself and his standpoint. And try and go for this win within the championship and gain those prizes.
Certainly is, and Nicky Taylor is sneaking up on the back of these 3. He's now down to 2.1 off Kyle, so he's slowly but surely catching up with the top 3. He was 4 seconds, I think, so I don't know whether these guys have just had a bad couple of laps, or because it looks like Tabaroni's catching as well as they go across the line.
This is it. This is what we're talking about. You know, Nicky Taylor now going quicker with a 1:23.2. So one of the faster laps of anyone within the top 4. But it's one of these. As soon as you start battling these F4 cars, and we've seen it all season, all of a sudden, Kyle Felvis gets it very squirrely out of that hairpin, and, you know, loses a lot of time there to Adam Lyle. So Adam's going to be tucked up onto the back of him. The more you battle in these cars, the more it drags people in behind. More so than in, you know, like your GTs and your touring cars and things like that. You know, these F4 cars with the toe that they produce and whatnot, that you're going to put yourself in a situation as Adam Lyle now goes to the outside, trying to take the move on Kyle Felvis and thinks better of it. It's just not going to happen. There's too many marbles on the outside of that track. He's going to run himself out wide, so he thinks better of it and tucks back in behind him. But, you know, this is potentially a 3-horse battle for the lead. And if if Nicky Taylor doesn't get involved, you know, this could be anyone's for the win.
Nicky Taylor does get involved, yeah.
This is it.
I think Nicky's had a bad lap because he's dropped another 3, maybe 4 attempts now this lap. So maybe he pushed a bit too hard and he's burnt out. Because I know the front left suffers around this track. Obviously, being a clockwise track, the front left is going to be absolutely screaming at this point for a bit of a rest. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of minutes between Adam and Kyle, because I feel like the weight on Kyle's car is going to start taking a toll on his tyres.
Well, one thing to bear in mind is that Adam Lyle's now, you see him just sort of almost faking to the inside, trying to get out of that dirty air of Kyle's car, because that's going to be hampering his tyres. Just in here, Richard Taylor in the YouTube chat, Nicky spent all day at Brands Hatch GP yesterday in the Clio. So Nicky's going to be locked in. He's ready to go. He's been out on track in real life and nailing this down. But we do see now Adam Lyle going to the outside. Take this away, Brad.
Oh, if they made it through clean. I'm not going to say it, but I wasn't expecting it to be clean. That was close. That was so close. They're still side by side. Like, Adam backs out. Yep, there we go. And Alexander Link now jumps up the side of Adam.
Now this is crucial.
Adam spins it.
And they've
Adam spun it.
Both gone together, and maybe there was some contact between the two of them, but that's going to push Adam Lyle right down now, and he's going to be absolutely furious about that. It looked like there was some contact between the two, but the two into those corners. Realistically, at that last sector of this track is not where people want to be overtaking. You want to be tucking in behind, and
too wide.
You don't, no, because you're going to hit the marbles, and the problem is you're going to run out wide because those corners naturally drag you out. But what that has done is allow Kyle Felvers a 2.5 second lead to Nicky Taylor, and realistically, Nicky's not going to be chasing after Kyle. He's going to be tucking in behind him, almost team orders per se. And you've got to say, with 5 minutes 30 left to go of this race, plus 1 lap, Kyle Felvers is going to be taking the win on this race, unless anything happens.
Very good for the championship as well, because Giuliano Giaco's still down in 15th.
Yep.
So Kyle's got a massive points gain over Giuliano in that. Who's second in the championship?
I will tell you in just a moment. Bear with me. I should have this stuff on hand. That's, horrific for me. But you got Giuliano Giaco P1 with 269 points, Kyle Felvers P2 with 261, and Cristiano Bettini with 258. But if you look at Bettini right now, Bettini is...
position.
Say again, sorry?
He's in fourth. He's in fourth, Bettini.
He is indeed. But you got to say, Giuliano Giaco down where he is, that Kyle only has to finish this race, nail it down. You know how strong Kyle is. In the reverse grid races. That's the be all and end all. Like, you know how he performs in those, and somehow manages to get. I don't want to say lucky because it isn't lucky, but at the end of the day, Kyle can go from last to first in a matter of corners and just predicts where these slower drivers are going to be and where they're going to be at, and nails it down. But we see Lorenzo Sentra losing in position to Gabino here now in P13 and P14. Not a lot going down in the midfield, and there's quite a sporadic spread now.
I've noticed Johnny Ogden's overtook Josh Martin. I wonder what happened there, because Josh Martin was about 4 tenths in front of Johnny Ogden, and he's now, 2.5 seconds back?
No, I don't want to say.
I can guarantee you, Dave in the chat is not very happy.
I was going to say, I don't want to say it, but Dave's in the chat, and it's going to upset him. But anyone would think that potentially Mr. Martin has put it into a wall, or maybe gone off wide, or something like that. Dave, don't hate me for it.
He's not got a big enough gap from Johnny to have put it in the wall. So I'm guessing he's gone wide, messed up a corner somewhere, and Johnny's just gone straight through, because being only, he's 2.8 behind now. Maybe Johnny's just done his tyres, because he seems to be going. He's 4 seconds back.
One thing I will say, Adam Lyle now up to P9. He's about a second off of Jacob Gannon here, and he's chasing after him. Adam Lyle with a 128 on his last run, which obviously wasn't the greatest lap for him. He's best at a 123.3. No, he's chasing down. Adam Lyle's got the pace. We know that, but Adam Lyle's going to need to be going after.
Last lap.
And you can see it. You can honestly see it against Gannon. Like, you can see how quickly he's closed up to him. He's going to dispatch him, I would have thought, incredibly quickly. But there is a 4.5, maybe 5 second gap now to Josh Martin in P7, and that's going to be the decider. As Adam Lyle now goes up the inside of Gannon and takes that position. Almost like he's standing still. Adam is absolutely flying, but from almost last on the grid, you've got to say, fair play. it's unfortunate that he got wiped out, and look, we'll keep that to the stewards' inquiries. I'm not going to say that he did or he didn't or anything like that, but that's what it looked like on the stream. But you know, Adam Lyle's in the position that he shouldn't be in. He should be up there at the front, literally battling with Kyle Felvis for the win, as he was in the first couple of laps of this race. And I'm sure he's going to have the grit between his teeth now to get stuck in and you know, gain as many points as he can.
I've just noticed as well, Olivia's back up to 10th after her little detour off the track earlier. So she's going well.
She is indeed.
Also,
she is indeed.
Does anyone know any dry liners? Because apparently Dave's just put a hole in his wall, which is also down to... Also, he's blamed Joel.
Whoa! Whoa!
There's a reoccurring theme here.
Right, Dave, that's enough of that. Yeah, Dave in the YouTube chat has just blamed me. That wasn't me whatsoever. What I will say is that in terms of the YouTube poll of who will win this race, 55% of the vote went to Kyle Felvis, 33% went to Adam Lyle, and 11% went to Alexander Link. So, you know, over half of the YouTube chat thinks that Kyle's going to win this race, and I must admit, with him 2 seconds ahead of Nicky Taylor, you got to say that's it's almost a given. I mean, unless Kyle makes a mistake.
Joel, I think they all wanted to pick the winner, and they chose after Adam and Alex crashed together. I think they pulled a sneaky on us.
They might have. They might.
When I looked, Adam was winning. Adam had the most votes.
They might. Yeah, I get it. I understand. But there's 19 seconds left of this race, and Kyle Felvis out in front. 2/10 ahead of Nicky Taylor, so you got to say Nicky's cruising. Nicky's not in the run for this championship. Let's face it. I mean, Nicky's got the pace. Let's not pull that away from him. We know Nicky's an incredibly quick driver. He's spent a lot of time on this track in real life. You know, especially yesterday, like his dad said. But you know, Kyle's out to win the championship, and that's the biggest thing. And you know, the last round.
Bettini was half a second a lap faster than Tabaroni last lap. There's technically 2 laps to go, and he's just over a second behind.
I mean, this is the second to last lap. This is, unless he suddenly activates God mode, I can't see that happening. If I'm completely honest, I think P4 is probably going to be where he sits. But stranger things have happened. That's all I'm going to say. As we see security and see the WRT drivers, 3 align here. All chasing after one another, and this is not where they normally are. They're normally up the front of this pack, and maybe Brands just hasn't suited their driving style. Maybe they've not got the setup completely right. But you got to say, this is prime time for a HFT 1-2 right here.
It is. They are. Well, we know Kyle and Nicky. We've both raced with them for what, 4 or 5 years now. They're great drivers. They are. They really are. They've just kept it clean. They like they always do. It's always they keep it on track. I hope the commentator's curse doesn't come out now, because that'd be embarrassing.
None of that. Don't want to talk about.
You know, they're too. I'm gonna say young, because me and you are old now.
Wow.
Compared to them.
Thank you, Brad. I appreciate that.
Well, they're young to me, and you're older than me, so.
Hey, look, I'm just saying, I count the grey hairs on my head, and there's a hell of a lot of them. You know, I go to the barbers, I try and get them cut out, and they reappear out of nowhere. So, look, it is what it is.
Well, I tried to do that, but I can't count that high. So,
but we will say, Kyle Felvis now coming through the second to last corner. On this race, and look, the clock's counted down to 0. It's +1 lap, so Kyle's going to come around for his final lap now. You got to say, with 2 and a bit seconds ahead of Nicky Taylor. Oh no, Kyle is going to take the checkered flag here and win. So that was the final lap. Kyle Felvis wins here on the first race at Brands Hatch here at the Phoenix Sim Racing F4 World Championship. Go on, say it.
Tabaroni.
Okay. I didn't think that was going to happen, but What is great to see is Carl Felvis and Nicky Taylor side by side here for the action shots, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of photos taken. But that is, you've got to say, that is exactly what Carl Felvis needed for this championship, and he's going to be elated at the fact that he's managed to secure that P1, because you've got to say, you know, it's prizes. That's what people are going for. You know, that's what this championship is after. There are prizes available, and these drivers are going for them, and that's what gets the sort of the grip between their teeth. But yeah, Carl Felvis wins here in the first race at Brands Hatch in the F4 World Championship. Second place, Nicky Taylor, 2.1 seconds away from him, and then Cristiano Bettini manages to nab it off the back of what Bradley has said, and I didn't think that was going to happen, but he managed to nip Tabaroni for P3, and what a race that was. And Carl Felvis is going to be elated with that one, so a big congratulations to him. What I will say is these drivers now are going to come back round, so you almost go 5 abreast, as if that was, you know, it'd be great if that was a race and they all went 5 abreast of one another. That'd be absolutely awesome, but that's not going to be the case. But as these drivers come round, they're going to come back to the pits, they're going to get the cars fueled up, change tyres, check over the aero and make sure everything's A-OK and ready to go for race 2. And we're going to go to an ad break quickly, and going to be ready to go for race 2 and also the race interviews. So we'll be back in just a moment.
What is going on, guys, and welcome back to Nerd PC Turbo Tech Reviews. Now today is something a little bit different. Normally we do just reviews on a single item, but today we're going to be showing you guys what you can expect from Nerd PC. Nerd PC is a bespoke building company where you can get absolutely any sort of style of gaming PC, office work PC, retail, or even for school work. This PC here demonstrates how small they can be, but yet still pack an absolute powerful punch. So from such a small computer like this, you may be worrying about heat, but these fans inside of here keep it absolutely ice cold as well as quiet. Now listen to this. Nice and quiet. Beautiful. Now we build completely different style of computers. Like I said, from this little one up here, it's all down to you. You get to decide on which case you want to use. You get to decide if you want it all flashy and RGB. You get to decide whether you want it completely plain and black. Remember, we did the hard part of figuring out which components work best for you for your value for money, but you get to decide on how it looks. If you're after something that's in your face, some bright and powerful as this. So this build here is in a Gigabyte C102 glass Arctic ice case with 320mm cooler master fans at the front, 360mm all-in-one cooler at the top. This full white ice build does look insane, and I can assure you, you will not be disappointed. So if you're on the market for a brand new shining gaming computer, or if you want a computer for home use, retail, or office work, it's completely down to you. We just make it happen. So if you haven't done already, go and head over to the website at www.nerdpc.co.uk, have a browse through, see what's on there, or drop us a message directly on Facebook, and we'll do our absolute best to make it happen for you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. And if you are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you did enjoy this video, hit the like for me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!
Hello and welcome back. After a thrilling first race here at Brands Hatch, and I'm joined now by Cristiano Bettini. Cristiano, what a race that was. Just talk us through that.
Che gara? Cosa vuoi dire?
Avevo la macchina danneggiata, non so, non riuscivo a stare in pista, era molto difficile, però fortunatamente siamo riusciti a portare la terza posizione a casa. Grazie a Fabio, grazie a te.
I had a little damage on the car and it was difficult to keep the car on track, but at the end I ended in P3. It's very good, and thanks to Fabio that let me by on the arrive. So thank you very much.
So just talk us through that slightly. So the damage on your car, how much did that sort of hamper your performance for the whole race? You know, was that a limiting factor, or was that something that you could drive through?
Il danno che avevi alla macchina era qualcosa di abbastanza importante o era qualcosa che riuscivi a guidarci sopra?
Non avevo le grip nelle curve veloci. Nelle curve veloci era molto instabile, leggerissima, rischiavo di perderla quasi sempre.
Probably a little damage on the wings because the car was slippery on the speed corner, so it was very slippery, difficult to keep, and it was difficult to bring the car home at the end of the race.
Okay, and look, just lastly from me, you know, like, have you enjoyed this championship? You know, how's it been for you? And you know, are you excited for the GT Championship?
Come ti è sembrato il campionato? Ti è piaciuto e cosa ne pensi del prossimo campionato GT?
Sì, il campionato è molto bello, lo ripeto, il livello è altissimo e il prossimo campionato GT sarà molto interessante.
So this championship was very funny and the level was very high, and we are happy to see that the next championship is GT car. So we want to see the next championship.
Well, a big congratulations and a big well done for finishing third in this race, and look forward to speaking to you potentially in the second race. Okay, so we move over now to Brad Smith, who's going to be interviewing Nikki Taylor for your P2 position.
I'm going to start off with a massive congratulations, Nikki. Keeping it clean, like you always do. Come out with a P2. How was that?
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't expect to be anywhere near the front. I kind of, after practice all week being like miles and miles off, and then Kyle gave me a setup, I think about 5 o'clock. And since then, I've kind of just chipped away at it, and the times have come more and more as the days went on. So, yeah, I think the times were competitive. I think had Alex and Adam not have wiped each other out, I don't think I would have been near them, because I think I was kind of sitting happy with my pace and forth and just chilling with where I was. But well, yeah, tonight. Oh, come.
No, go Karen.
Yeah, no, but tonight for me is just basically about getting Kyle this championship and just helping him in any way, shape or form for this last round.
Well, I was watching you throughout that race and you were catching them. And I said to Joel, if they're not careful, Nicky's going to be on the back of them. You got it down to just under 2 seconds and then the collision happened. So I feel like you could have caught up with them. Don't put yourself down like that. You had the pace, you were doing lap times faster than them consistently.
Yeah, it's
so,
fair. It was, the lap times were there, and the lap times I felt were quick. It's just like with this track and in the F4 for the whole of the season, it's kind of been a championship where I've been quick, and my 1 lap pace has been rapid most of the championship. It's just that my consistency doesn't seem to always be there. Like, I seem to lose the car a little bit and have a tiny bit of moments. Like, I think that's the main reason why I lost Alex in the first part of the race, is because I had a tiny moment with my rear end, and then literally he just pulled about that 2-second gap. But yeah, I'm ironing out the mistakes. It's a shame it's come to the last round to iron out all of them, but yeah, the championship's been run really, really well, and I'm not gonna say I'm not happy to see the back of this championship, but yeah, it's been run really, really well, and being part of Phoenix has been really, really nice to come into.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Are you going to be doing the GTs?
Most definitely. I don't know what car yet. I've kind of narrowed it down to 2 of them, either the Mustang or the Porsche, but Kyle's kind of trying to persuade me heavily on one of them, but I'm trying to encourage him to pick the other one, so So yeah, but there should be about 6 or 7 HFT drivers in the next championship, so it should be good and getting the whole team back together. So it should be good fun.
Good. Well, I've also signed up, so let's it's like the good old days, shall we say?
Oh dear.
Congratulations on the P2. I'll pass it back over to Joel to speak to Kyle.
A big congratulations there to Nicky Taylor with a P2 in the first race. And we move on now to our race 1 winner, Kyle Felvers. Kyle, you must say that must be a weight off your shoulders, and some great valuable points that you've earned there for the championship.
Yeah, of course. I mean, not how I expected race 1 to go, but you know, things happen. It's racing at the end of the day, and incidents do happen. And saw the door open for P1, took it, and then that's where I sort of just stayed for the rest of the race, just managing the tyres, making sure they didn't fall off a cliff. And to see Nicky behind me in P2 was definitely a relief towards the end of the race.
I was going to say, when Adam had that collision and went firing off into the background, that must have been a nice thought for you, more than anything. Knowing that you've potentially got some clear air behind you and you've got your teammate running behind you, knowing that he's not going to press you for the rest of the race, for you to gain them valuable points.
Yeah, I mean, having Nicky behind is always great because it's just less pressure on me. Don't have someone that's just going to try and send it up the inside every corner. I mean, he might, but I should hope not. I think race 1, just getting those points, and then race 2, this is where it's all going to count. I think just trying to stay out of trouble, not get into any incidents. I think paddock hill is definitely going to be a crucial point in this race, and then definitely up in the back end of the track on the GP loop. Just got to stay out of trouble.
It is indeed. It's almost like we're back to the days of you and myself racing together and battling it out for the lead. So look, you're going into this reverse good race now. What are your thoughts? What are your plans? And what you're going after?
Well, I mean, like I said, stay out of trouble. But if you were on the track, I think I'd be in a wall upside down anyway. So, wow. I'm glad it's not the back of good old days, but it'll be good to see you on track again soon.
Oh well, it is what it is. Well, look, I'll wish you the best luck and a big well done for P1 in that race, and some valuable points banked for you. And good luck for race 2, and hopefully make your way through the pack and potentially be speaking to you on the podium for race 2.
Yeah, cheers, Joel.
Cheers. Well, and there we have it then. There we have it. Kyle Felvers sticking his oar in as per usual, but a dominant race for him and a big well done in terms of that. And as we go now, and Brad, I'm going to fire it over to you very quickly. The gantry's gone live, so over to you for the start of this race.
We got 5, 2 lights, and away they go. Let's hope it's all clean for the first corner. This is all. I hate this point.
No, don't say it. There's a big off in the background there. Olivia Krishanovska.
It was Olivia.
Olivia, yeah, down to P16. She's been tagged round and not the start that she wanted. But a clean getaway, nonetheless, for the rest of the drivers in this F4 Championship. And actually probably one of the cleanest that we've seen. But Adam Lar up to P2, going around the outside now, Giuliano Giarco, and that's going to be big for the championship. So Giuliano's not going to take that lightly. Adam Lar now up to P2 and challenging for P1 from Jabino. You got to say that Ad's probably going to dispatch him incredibly quickly as he looks to the inside, thinks better of it, and he's just going to hold on just a little bit longer. You got to say Ad's probably got the pace to take P1.
I can almost guarantee Ad's going to want to get past him and get gone as quick as possible.
As he does just then.
And Giuliano Giarco's also looking to get through as he backs out of it. This could be Ad's opportunity to get another win.
It is indeed. But you've got to say, Kyle Felvers up to now P10, and he's going to be looking for more positions. Giarco's up now to P2. Excuse me, up to P2. Jabino down to, he's falling down the order and tumbling down. But that's not going to be what Kyle Felvers needs. Kyle Felvers up to P9 now, and making his moves, and I'm sure he'll make a few more Nicky Taylor just in front of him, and Carl Velver straight up the inside of him. Yeah, he has indeed. And you got to say, this is all for the championship. We know we spoke previously about these teams, letting drivers through and, potentially working for a favourite driver for the championship. And you got to say that's going to be the one there where Nicky Taylor's let through Carl Velvers.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that Giaco's actually dropping off Adam. Ad's opened it up to a 1.5 second lead as the time screen goes mental again. For me, anyway.
I was going to say Carl Velvers down to P7, but that's exactly where he was. So I almost thought that Carl Velvers had an off, and that would be horrific for his championship standings. But no, he's A-OK at the moment. But the way that it currently stands, he has indeed. But the championship standings as they stand are Cristiano Bettini in P1 with 294 points, Carl Velvers with 291, and Giuliano Giaco with 278. So the move here now for Carl Velvers is to make sure that he outscores Cristiano Bettini by a number of points. And you've got to say right now, as he is, that he's doing so. And this is going to come down to the wire. With 16 minutes left of this race, Carl Velvers has got to get a move on and move from P6 all the way up the grid. And there's an opportunity here now. A lot of drivers getting squirrely on the exit curve there on the right-hand side.
I saw Gannon and Martin get squirrely, which will upset Dave yet again. But what's new? Kyle's now got a fairly big gap of 1.7 seconds to the group in front of him. It'll be interesting to see how fast he can catch up, because over the finish line last time round, they were all pretty matched on times. So it'll be interesting to see if Kyle's got any more pace in him as he gets tapped by Gannon straight into the gravel.
And Kyle's off. That's a big off there, and that's not exactly what he needs for the championship standings. And that's going to put him in a very difficult position now as he's down in P15. This last race is what counts. He has to beat Bettini. That's the biggest thing. Carl Velvers down into P15. Bettini is up into, I'm just looking now, 9th position. He's got to beat him. He can't lose to him. And
Nicky Taylor is behind Bettini, which is Kyle's teammate. So this could get very interesting.
It can do, but there's 15 minutes left of this race. 15 and a half minutes left of this race, plus 1 lap. This is all to play for, if I'm completely honest. But Bettini there, taking the move. He did indeed, and he's moving up the grid, and that's not what Carl Velvers is going to want to see. This is very close between the two, and even with dropped scores, you got to say that Carl Velvers has not had the second race that he wanted, and down in P15, he's got a lot of work to do to make his way up. But
Johnny Ogden's just gone past Jamie. Is it Jamie Gannon?
Jacob Gannon.
And
Jacob Gannon.
Jacob and Josh, all just at the start of the straight. You got between the two of them. The two had a little bit of a collision. Johnny Ogden saw the opportunity and thought, "Thank you very much. I'll take that." And through he goes.
You got to say it's the case, but again, Carl Velvers now up to P14, so he's taken LeBlanc and made his move there. But he's got a lot of ground to cover, and you got to say he's going to have the grip between his teeth, and he's going to have to put in some absolute hot laps now to be able to win this championship. And it's one of these ones. It's coming down to the last race of the season to be able to nail this down. And this is exciting stuff. Carl Velvers is an incredibly quick driver. That a lot of the drivers are incredibly close to one another. There is an opportunity here for him to be able to win it, but this is going to be a tall margin for him to be able to make his way up to where he needs to. As Olivia Krzyżanowska goes wide and onto the gravel and not where she needs to. But that gives Carl Velvers P13. He's now on the back of Jabino for P13. For P12. So Carl Velvers making his way through, but is it going to be enough with 30 minutes left to go of this race?
I believe Bettini's at the front of this next group that's in front of Kyle. So all Kyle's got to do, I think it's about 5 seconds, 5.5 seconds to catch up.
Yes, indeed.
To the back of Bettini. So it sounds a lot, but it's not a lot. Bettini's going to be defending. He's got people behind him. Where Kyle's got pretty much no one around him. He's got a free track. He can push. The only problem Kyle's got, he's got 2, 3, 4 people between him and Bettini. One of them being his teammate, which could help him. But it could go against him.
I mean, you know Nicky's going to let him through. That's going to be the main thing. Nicky's going to let him through for the championship because he's not going to hinder him on this. But you got to say that Bettini is also making places right now, and that's going to be a real sticky situation because Bettini is holding his own.
24-3, and Kyle's was a 23-5.
And there's an off behind with Jacob Gannon, so he's down the grid, and that's going to gift Carl Felvers a position, 2 positions actually, up into P10.
And the link involved in that too.
Yeah. So look, Carl Felvers now up into P10. He's only 3 positions behind Bettini. He needs to outscore him. So, you know, there's about 5 seconds between them. Has Carl Felvers got what he needs in terms of actual lap time and, you know, pace to be able to overtake, you know, Bettini and take that win in the championship? But this is all going to come down to the wire with 12 minutes left to go, plus 1 lap. Adam Lyle out in front. 3 seconds clear. He's absolutely fine from Giuliano Giarco. But you've also got to pay attention to the fact that Giuliano Giarco in P3 is P3 in the championship. And could score some really vital points here and put himself in a great position to get stuck in with the 3 of them. So this is anyone's race. It could be Bettini's, it could be Felvis's, it could be Giarco's. Like, it's all to play for.
Yeah, the math side of things isn't gonna come from me. This is all Joel. I am definitely not clever enough to do that. But I feel like Kyle's got the pace to catch up. He's done a 23 flat that last lap, and I believe Bettini done a 23.8, if I remember correctly. So Kyle's lapping about 8 tenths faster a lap. So technically he could catch up. He's now only 3.5 seconds behind. He could,
and that's the thing. That's a big deficit between him and Bettini. And you've got to say that Carl's definitely got the grip between his teeth, but this is going to come down to the wire. You know, with 10 minutes left to go this race, or 10.5 minutes left to go this race, plus 1 lap, you got to say Carl Felvers has to put in these hot laps, as I said before, to be able to put himself in a position as he goes up now into P9, which is a great move from him and Forster. He's got Nicky Taylor in front of him. You got to say, when he closed up to the front of him, Nicky's going to let him through. You know, Nicky's not on the back of Bettini, and it's almost like Carl would want Nicky Taylor to be on the back of Cristiano Bettini. You want him to be pressuring him to be able to make a mistake, but it's nearly a second off of Bettini right now. So Carl's really got to put, you know, the hammer down and chase after him. If he beats Bettini, that's him for the championship. If he doesn't beat Bettini, with drop scores, he might take him. As Lorenzo Sentra now.
He spun it again and hit Kyle.
That's it. It's almost off, and Kyle holds it, and what a absolute... I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I honestly do not know, and he's definitely going to have some damage off the back of that. But you've got to say, fair play to Carl Felvers to be able to hold that. And look, it's not over yet. He's definitely got some aero damage on his car, but I honestly don't. I'm speechless. Yeah, I honestly do not know what to say. Josh Martin up to P4. Sciurti now losing positions and also gone wide. Yeah. Which is not great because Bettini's now going to take P5. That's more points for him. Nicky Taylor P6. Nicky has overtaken Sciurti, and that's exactly what he needed, but they've both gone wide. Is he going to hold up Bettini now? That's what he's going to have to do. It's almost reminiscent of the... He has indeed, and almost reminiscent of the mini championship, where you held up Nicky Taylor for myself to win the championship in the minis, but I mean, I don't know where to look. This is going to be absolute mayhem till the end. But you got to say that's not going to be what Carl Felvers wants, and I'm concerned for Carl with the damage that he potentially has on his car because he did go flying. Is he going to be able to have the pace now to be able to chase over the off the front lot?
I'm trying to keep an eye on the YouTube chat. Giuseppe's put something in Italian, and I'm ever so sorry. Even though I am Italian, well, I have Italian relatives. I can't read it or speak it, so that's my bad. Skirty goes round. Dave, still in the chat, says he feels bad for Kyle.
But
Ethan
Brad
Hill-
here, hang on, 2 seconds. Carl Felvis now is behind Cristiano Bettini. They are literally on the point where Kyle can sniff him down. Yeah, Kyle has to be bang on now. He cannot make any mistakes. He's got to nail this down. He's got to chase after Bettini. We got to hope that Kyle hasn't got any damage on that car. I feel like he does. This is all to play for. He has to overtake Bettini if he wants to stand any chance of winning this championship.
It'll be interesting to see now if Nicky slows it down a little bit, because he's pulled a bit of a gap. 1.2, 1.3 seconds to Bettini. I wonder if Nicky will slow it down, back himself up into Bettini, cause him to go a lot slower than what he is now. So Kyle's got an easier job of catching up and getting the championship win.
You've got to say Kyle's probably screaming down the microphone now to Nicky Taylor.
We know Kyle. We know 100% he is screaming. I can imagine something's been thrown across his room. He's not going to be a happy bunny until he overtakes Bettini.
No, but you got to say Kyle's going to have the bit between his teeth. He's going to be frustrated more than anything. And look, Nicky Taylor is there to potentially help Kyle win this championship. And you got to say, whether Nicky backs off or not, which I'm sure he's going to do, he's going to hold up Bettini. Kyle Felvis is going to have to try and dive him. They're going to have to be concise and precise with this move, because what they don't want is Bettini being able to lunge a move on Nicky and then Nicky not being able to catch him. So this is all to play for. I'm surprised Nicky's not backed off already to try and sort of slow him down. You know, Nicky's still lapping incredibly well. 124 dead, so yes, he is off the pace, but at the same time, there's still a gap between him and Bettini of nearly 1.5 seconds. So, you know, wherever these team orders are coming from, I don't know, but you got to say they've not been instilled just yet. And maybe Nicky's trying to chase up to Josh Martin and Johnny Ogden, because he's not far off the back of them, and maybe try and draw them back as well and make it a 5-way battle for P3. I do not know, but Adam Lyle with the 24-2, Giuliano Giarco with the 23-8. So Giarco's chasing after Adam Lyle, albeit 2.5 seconds off of him. You got to say, Adam pretty much got this wrapped up with 5.5 minutes left to go of this race, plus 1 lap. But eyes are on. Josh Martin just overtaken Johnny Ogden, and they're side by side through the hairpin there. And you got to say, Josh Martin's going to have the inside line, and he's going to take that and say thank you very much. Johnny Ogden, you're not coming through there, and I'm going to take that position from you. That has allowed Nicky Taylor to close up on the inside, and Nicky's going to go up the inside of Johnny Ogden and make that move. But that's not what Carl Felvis needs. He needs to back them up.
I think Nicky Taylor's dad needs to go tap him on the shoulder and say, "Oi, you're supposed to be hitting your teammate out here."
He does.
Five minutes left of the race, and looking at the last lap times, Kyle's only lapping a 10th faster than Bettini. He isn't going to catch up.
He's not, and this is a problem. Carl's definitely got to get that damage on that car, and this is for the championship. You know, Nicky's not in the running for the championship. Yes, he's in the running for position, but you know, at what point do you say team orders?
Unless, I know my maths is bad. Maybe yours is bad too, and they've worked out themselves, and Kyle doesn't need to beat Bettini.
Maybe it could come down to drop scores.
Have we got any geniuses in the chat?
We might do. Hang on. Maybe Dave can jump in.
Kyle's dad's screaming, according to the YouTube chat.
Maybe Dave can jump in and try and figure this out for us. But
Johnny Ogden and Nicky have come together.
Kyle's up to P6. Maybe that was orchestrated. I don't know. But Kyle's in front of Cristiano Bettini, and that's exactly what he needs in this race. He has got to get ahead. And what you got to say now is, oh no, he hasn't. No, Cristiano Bettini P5. It said that he was in front, but he's not. But Bettini is now stuck behind Johnny Ogden. He is on the back of him, and this is going to be it. This could be the championship decider. It is. And Kyle's going to go to the inside, and you're going to say he's going to make the move. He's going to make it stick. And he does. And Kyle Felvis in front of Cristiano Bettini for P5. And you might say that might be the opportunity he needed to win this championship. Kyle Felvis has to dive in front of Johnny Ogden now to secure this. But What an incredible race from being wiped out to coming back through and overtaking Bettini. Just shows how much pace he's got. And what an exhilarating race this is with 3 minutes left to go. And Carl Felvers could win this championship.
Brad Smith, eat your words. That couldn't have happened at a worse time for me. I've literally just said Kyle's not going to catch him, and 3 corners later, he's in front of him. So, now Kyle needs Johnny to pull him along and get away from Bettini as fast as possible. Otherwise, it's just going to be absolute carnage.
And Johnny Ogden's backed off. Johnny's backed off. He's let him through. He knows, Johnny Ogden knows that Carl's quicker. He knows that that's not his battle. But is Johnny Ogden going to hold up Cristiano Bettini? Bettini goes up the inside. It's going to be able to hold him off. He is. Johnny Ogden's hold him off.
Bettini got very sideways coming into the corner there, and Nicky Taylor's now got past him. That is the perfect scenario for Kyle. Nicky can now hold Bettini up. Kyle can run off after Josh Martin, which we know Josh Martin, good driver. Kyle will do well to catch up with him, being nearly 3.5 seconds off him. But Kyle, Kyle, don't make me eat my words again, please, because I'll just look stupid and no one will ever want me back in the
I'm just going to say though, Johnny Ogden's gone wide, and that's drawn in Nicky Taylor and Cristiano Bettini. Nicky Taylor has to stay in front of Bettini. That's game on. There can't be any if, ands or buts about it. But you've got to say that Carl Felvers extended his lead there with a 1:23.4. So he's now clear in 4th place. He is a couple of seconds off of Josh Martin for P3. But you've got to say, as it currently stands, this is the perfect standing for Carl Felvers. You must admit, he's gone from being wiped out and going down to pretty much last place in this race, back up to P4. It's an outstanding show from him. I'm sure the YouTube chat, all of his supporters are going to be raring for him. They want him to win this. And win this championship. There's 58 seconds plus 1 lap left to go in this race. It's anyone's to play for, and look, it's so close. It's come down to these final margins. Race 2 of the final sort of race of the season, or round of the season per se. Carl Felvers could potentially win this.
And I've just noticed the polls ended before the end of the race, which is good. People can't do a little sneaky again. 50% of chat have said Cristiano is going to get the championship win. Kyle
it's
30%,
close.
Giuliano 20%.
It's so close. Bettini's got ahead of Nicky Taylor. Bettini's got in front of him. That's not what Nicky needs to do, and that's not what Carl needs.
Looks like there's a big gap there. Nicky must have made a mistake. He did say in his interview, consistency wasn't his strongest point.
Yep.
So maybe he's made a tiny little mistake, gone wide, and Bettini's just slipped through. But
yeah, it shows it there, Nicky.
Still between the two.
He is, but Nicky Taylor with a 1:25, so he definitely made a mistake there, and that's not going to be what Carl needs. I'm sure Carl's screaming down the microphone at him, but we are on. I want to say the last lap, but did they cross the line before the end of the last?
Cross the line.
They did. Okay, so this is last lap. Oh, sorry, it's 2 laps.
No, it's 2 laps. Yeah.
Adam Lyle now 2.2 seconds ahead of Giuliano
Kyle's
Giarco.
got a healthy lead between him and Bettini now. It's just over 3 seconds. I feel like he's got that in the bag. I don't know about the points situation, but this current race, Kyle's got it in the bag as long as he can keep it on the grey stuff.
Well, Carl Felvers half a second quicker than Josh Martin on that last lap. Like that's a lot of time to be gaining, but at the same time, he is also a second and a half off of Josh Martin. There's not enough time for him to get up close to him unless Josh Martin makes a mistake for the podium. But
he's now on his sights.
It's close.
Having someone in your sights makes it a lot easier to catch him because you
can
see where they are. You can judge it. But whether he gets him on the last lap as they're just about to start, I do
final
not
lap.
know.
They're starting the final lap now. So Adam Lyle is taking P1 for his final lap here at Brands Hatch in the final round here of the F4 World Series. And you've got to say a dominant performance here from Adam Lyle. Done incredibly well, and towards the back end of this championship has shown his dominance and his setup and his prowess and almost made it look easy. But, you know, this is it. Adam Lyle wasn't in the contention for the championship. But the likes of, you know, Carl Felvers is, and Sciurti now getting in front of Nicky Taylor. which again is not what Nicky needed. He needed to be in front of Bettini. He needs to make as many places on Bettini as he can to drag him down the order. Carl Felvis P4, Bettini B6. This is coming down to the wire. Carl Felvis is 3 points off Bettini in the championship. This is coming down to the end. There is nothing else to it. And we're going to see at the end of this race who is crowned champion provisionally, albeit, you know, stewards inquiries and track limits and things like that. But Adam Lyle now coming up to the final corner here at Brands Hatch, and he's going to take a dominant victory after over Giuliano Giarco in P2. And you got to say, incredible well done here to Adam Lyle to make that stick from the reverse good race, and he wins here on the final race, so the final round here at Brands Hatch in the Phoenix Sim Racing F4 World Championship, and a big congratulations to him. Giuliano Giarco takes P2 with Josh Martin in P3 and taking that podium position that he needed. Carl Felvis in P4, Johnny Ogden P5, and Cristiano Bettini in P6, and we'll wait for the results to refresh. He is. That wasn't what he wanted. P12 finish for Nicky Taylor, so it all went to pot right there at the end for him, with Olivia Christian Oscar P13, LeBlanc, Jabino and Gannon all DNFing at the end of this race. But who are we crowning our F4 world champion? As we see our drivers now celebrating and coming back to the pits, and they'll park their cars, and we'll be back with you after this exhilarating race as Adam Lyle and Josh Martin, I think, get a little bit close to one another and put each other onto the grass in the warm down lap. But we'll speak to you after this short ad break from our sponsors.
What is going on, guys, and welcome back to Nerd PC Turbo Tech Reviews. Now today is something a little bit different. Normally we do just reviews on a single item, but today we're going to be showing you guys what you can expect from Nerd PC. Nerd PC is a bespoke building company where you can get absolutely any sort of style of gaming PC, office work PC, retail, or even for school work. This PC here demonstrates how small they can be, but yet still pack an absolute powerful punch. So from such a small computer like this, you may be worrying about heat, but these fans inside of here keep it absolutely ice cold as well as quiet. Now listen to this. Nice and quiet. Beautiful. Now we build completely different style of computers. Like I said, from this little one up here, it's all down to you. You get to decide on which case you want to use. You get to decide if you want it all flashy and RGB. You get to decide whether you want it completely plain and black. Remember, we did the hard part of figuring out which components work best for you for your value for money, but you get to decide on how it looks. If you're after something that's in your face, some bright and powerful as this. So this build here is in a Gigabyte C102 glass Arctic Ice case with 320mm cooler master fans at the front, 360mm all-in-one cooler at the top. This full white ice build does look insane, and I can assure you, you will not be disappointed. So if you're on the market for a brand new shining gaming computer, or if you want a computer for home use, retail, or office work, it's completely down to you. We just make it happen. So if you haven't done already, go and head over to the website at www.nerdpc.co.uk, have a browse through, see what's on there, or drop us a message directly on Facebook, and we'll do our absolute best to make it happen for you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. And if you are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you did enjoy this video, hit the like for me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!
Welcome back to race 2 here at Brands Hatch for the F4 World Championship. And a big congratulations to all of our drivers this evening for a fantastic drive. But you must say, what a run that it has been from every single one of our drivers. And just a big congratulations to everyone that's been able to do what they have in these cars, because it is not easy. It's been a tough gig. And look, it is what it is. Like, we make it look easy on the stream, but for these drivers here, without ABS and without the tyre cooling and things like that, it's a tough gig. But we're joined now by our P3 driver, Josh Martin. Josh, just talk us through that race.
Yeah, it feels like I've won. I've struggled all championships so much with this car. I'd like to give a shout out to Nikki and Kyle. I think they were hoping I'd take some points off some of their rivals by giving me their setup just before qualifying. So once I got my head around that, it made an alteration to it to suit my style a little bit. Yeah, I suddenly found some pace, which I've been waiting 8 weeks to find. So yeah, shout out to them for giving me that setup.
Hey, it's always great. And look, you've been without your main man, Eric Axelson, your teammate throughout most of your championships. But look, it is what it is, and what a great race that you ran. And P3 is nothing to be sniffed at. Just talk us through this championship, like how you found it, you know, some of the issues that you faced, and you know the ways that you've overcome them.
Yeah, I've actually really enjoyed it. This has been the most off pace I've been in like one of these championships. And yeah, I've never done a single seater championship before, and I think the cars are a completely different driving style to my natural style. My natural style's getting all the rotation done on the brakes and kind of sliding my way into turns, a bit more like a 90s touring car kind of style. And this car drives very differently to that sort of car, so it's a completely different way of driving it. And I guess my biggest thing is I've not had the free time really to invest in getting the setup really good. I had a pretty decent setup with really low wings, which then worked at tracks like Spa, so I had quite good pace that week. But all the tracks where you've had to start throwing on wing, yeah, it felt like I was in a different formula some weeks to some of the chaps in this league, because they're so fast and they all know how to set a car up as well. So yeah, I've enjoyed the car. It's been a fun challenge to get my head around. That was a really nice race to end it on. Because yeah, I felt really good in that one, and yeah, it feels like I've won for 3rd place. I think the struggles I've had this championship, I think, to get a podium in the last round. Yeah.
Hey, look, a big well done to you. Look, these cars are difficult. Look, we spoke about this before. They're not easy to drive. You guys make it look easy out on the circuit, but you've all absolutely nailed it, and a big well done for the first Phoenix Championship. Are you looking on now to the GT Championship? And if so, you know, where are your sights set in terms of championship position for that?
Well, I'm here for the entertainment value. I provide the stream.
I think
so,
Dave's
yeah.
here for that entertainment value, isn't he, in the YouTube chat?
Yes, I think Dave made an appearance this evening.
He did indeed, as always.
I hope you had my overtake on Johnny broadcasted around the outside of the hairpin. That was Dave would have liked that. It was a good move.
And look,
but yeah, no, I think you know, I always aim for a top 3 in the leagues, but we'll see. These guys are quick, so I'll do my best. I don't think you're gonna have Eric for the next one either, so I'm gonna have to muster up my own setup. But yeah, the GT cars, they don't suit my driving style, say, as much as my ideal car, but they will suit my style a lot more than the Formula car. I've really enjoyed the Formula car. It's completely different. Yeah, it's good fun.
Well, I'm sure if you reach out to Eric, I'm sure he's going to help you with the GT cars because he is a natural with those. And to be honest, any car that he gets into. So yeah, a big well done to you, Josh. And actually, as we talk about it, Josh, you have made driver of the round for your podium this evening. So a big congratulations to you and a big well done.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks Adam, Stu, and you, Joel, everyone else behind the scenes for actually getting this all put on. I think for a first championship, it's been pretty good and pretty flawless. So yeah, well done. Everyone
Oh, well, incredibly kind words there from Josh Martin, but a big well done to you, Josh, and look forward to potentially seeing you in the GT Championship. Cool. As we move on now to Brad Smith for our second place interview.
And we've got Giuliano Giaco with a P2 finish and a potential P2 finish in the championship. Congratulations.
Praticamente detto che è finito in seconda posizione, congratulazioni per il posto che è finito poi in campionato.
Ringrazio tutti, cioè, non me l'aspettavo, però ringrazio tutti.
Okay. We say thanks to everyone and compliments to Adam, and we don't have nothing to say anymore. Enjoy and bye.
Okay. That was short and sweet, a bit like myself. Joel, I'll pass it back over to you to interview Kyle.
Hey, it's what it is. Sometimes these interviews are short and sweet. You know, it is what it is. But a big congratulations to the WRT drivers for their run and for their racing within this championship. So a big well done to them. Kyle Felvers, Kyle Felvers. Adam Lyle will move on to you for a P1 win here. Adam, you got to say the back end of this championship has been a special one for you over the past couple of races. You have dialed in this car to the up-team moment and put the car exactly where it needed to be, and you got to say, won with dominance. It's one of those situations where almost if it had been like that from the start, you'd potentially be racing for the championship win. Would you not say?
Yeah, I've just been counting up the wins and that, and I think I ended up with the most wins in the championship anyway. So yeah, shame I didn't do it at the start.
It is what it is. It is what it is. But how hard was it to set up this car? Like a lot of drivers really struggling to nail the setup on this car, and you know, whether that's ride height, whether that's, you know, camber, toe, whether that's, you know, brake balance, things like that, tire pressures. You know, there's a lot to change on these cars and to really get dialed in. Now, how hard was it for you to nail that down and get the car into the sweet spot for each track?
Well, it took me 5 weeks, didn't it? So it's as hard as that. But once I got it dialed in and that, the round 5, 6, and 7, I think it was only minor tweaks to it. This round took a lot more. This is actually a modified version of a setup Kyle sent me a few days ago. So I think he was trying to help quite a few people to be faster in this one.
So would you say P6 in the championship is something that you're happy with, or were you expecting more?
I wouldn't say happy, but it is what it is. I've obviously race 1 I would have been a lot higher, which would have potentially got me another couple of positions.
It would have, yeah. 2 points behind Johnny Upton in P5, and then 8 points behind Alexander Link in P4.
Yeah, I think I might have got that, but yeah, not to worry. Things happen.
This is racing. This is racing. And look, big congratulations, Adam. You know, you've absolutely nailed it in the second half of the season, and you know what could have been potentially. But we lead on to the GT Championship, and you're looking forward to that?
Oh, too right. Absolutely love GT cars. They're my favourite cars anyway. So yeah, hopefully hit the ground running in that one and compete with them.
Amazing stuff. Well, look, congratulations, Adam. A big well done, and look forward to speaking to you in the GT Championship.
Good job.
Okay, and here we are with Kyle Felvers, our provisional championship winner. And what a fight that was. And Kyle, you must say, especially in that race 2, we were on tenterhooks watching you, especially as you climbed back down the grid and got a little sideways moment and got wiped out. Talk us through that from start to finish, because yeah, we almost didn't think that was possible.
Yeah, hectic. I mean, instant towards the start of the race, just got pushed into the gravel, but you know, that was a network issue, and these things happen. We are racing on the SEM, and obviously you don't have engine failure, you just got network trouble instead. So there's always a counterpart to real life, but I made it work, got back on track, and then head was down. Just needed to get some points back on Giuliano, really. Halfway through the race, had a bit of a moment. Another driver rejoining the track, got wiped out again, but managed to save it, and then from there it was just looking up, and that's what I did, and managed to secure a P4.
Just to talk us through that moment in the middle of the race, because we saw that live on the stream, and fair play to you, Carl, you managed to hold that better than any driver that I've seen, to be completely honest. And you know, we're not glazing on you right here, but yeah, that's not normally a save that someone would make. Normally someone would be off into the barrier, but you managed to hold that. The nose of your car was up in the air, probably 6 feet, and still managed to hold it. Did you have any damage on the car?
Oh yeah, definitely. I had front wing damage. I also picked up rear wing damage as well from the same incident. Don't exactly know, but you know, that's sim racing for you. I think going into the incident, it was just a case of where's he gonna go, and he ended up going where I was. So it's just holding on for dear life and hoping. I think my background of drifting probably helped me in that, like the car control I have, especially on Assetto, being the sim that I do both on. I think it was just hold on for dear life and hope. Most would have, you know, let go of the steering wheel, sacrificed, you know, their wrists and not wanted them injured. But it's for the championship, just had to hold on and hope for the best, really.
Yeah, no, incredibly well held there. Like honestly, that was something that we weren't expecting you to be able to do, but you did it in style when you held onto that car and you climbed your way back up the grid. So big congratulations for that. You know, when you were behind Nicky Taylor, and obviously he's your teammate now, he was about a second and a half in front of you. You know, what were your thoughts going into that? Were you screaming at him down the mic of, you know, back up Bettini, let me come through? Or was it a case of race your own race and I'll catch up when I get there?
Yeah, I think the second one, I think just race your own race. Obviously, I'm not expecting Nicky to sacrifice his race for me. I knew that if he carried on, that they'd end up fighting eventually. So I think it was just race your own race, and I'll get there when I do get there.
Amazing stuff. Well, Kyle, how does it feel to be the provisional F4 World Champion for Phoenix Sim Racing in the first championship that we've run?
Yeah, I think it's great. It's a great feeling, really. I mean, the fight, it's been there the whole season. P1 going into the 7th round, and then that's where I lost it. But I think, if anything, that's helped me. Dropped 3 kg of ballast, so coming into tonight, that was definitely helpful. And then managing to claw it back in the final round, it's definitely a statement that's been made. And you know, Phoenix, they've run this series. I mean, you, Adam, Stuart, everyone that's put something into this series, you've all done it brilliantly. And I don't think we could all ask for anything more from this series than it has been. And it's definitely been really fun to be a part of.
Well, that's awesome. I really appreciate that. And on behalf of Phoenix, we appreciate that compliment that comes through from yourself. Well, look, Kyle, congratulations on a provisional championship win here at the Phoenix Sim Racing F4 World Championship. And are you looking to do the GT Championship off the back of this one?
Oh yeah, for sure. Already signed up.
Well, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. Look, massive well done. Big congratulations. And obviously, off the back of any stewards reviews and things like that, a big congratulations on a provisional championship win here for Carl Felvis here at the Phoenix F4 World Championship, with over 30 kilos of ballast throughout the whole championship. And, you know, that's by no means feat, a really tough task. So a big well done, Carl Felvis. And, yeah, look forward to potentially seeing you in the next championship.
Cheers, Joel. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Well done, Kyle.
And there we have it then. Carl Felvis, your provisional championship winner here for the first series of the F4 World Championship here at Phoenix Sim Racing. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone in the YouTube chat that's joined us over the past several weeks, getting involved with us and, you know, chatting away in the YouTube chat. A big thank you to Stuart Vickers that has put this on for Phoenix, and, you know, a big thank you to all of the drivers that have got involved and racing for these prizes. And look, we couldn't have done it without any one of you. My name's Joel Lask. Obviously, I've been joined by Brad Smith this evening. Big thank you to Thomas Merritt, who's been co-commentator with me throughout this championship. It's been an absolute pleasure to join all of you here in all of this exciting racing, and we look forward to speaking to you all in the next championship in the GT Challenge. So for us, that is it. That is good night. That is the end of the championship, and look forward to seeing all of you soon.